Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Wouldn't it be nice every time you walk into the kitchen, you open the refrigerator, you take a look what you have in your prep, and within a couple minutes, you know what you're going to cook for dinner. That's what I do every night. No more head scratching, no more wondering what I'm going to cook for dinner. The reason that I'm able to achieve this is because of my fast cooking system. It has 4 attributes, that is flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking. The word FAST is the acronym of these 4 attributes that will help people to remember them. The goal of the fast cooking system is to allow you to cook with intuition rather than with recipes. By combining these 4 attributes, it creates an environment that you can cook anything you want at any time. In this age of fast and processed food, to cook or not to cook is a challenge that many people face. Cooking takes time, and most people feel that they don't have enough time in a day to cook. This could be overcome by making cooking more efficient. However, the challenge remains to decide what to cook that is delicious, interesting, as well as creative, a situation people often face when they step foot into the kitchen. What am I going to cook that will be worth my time? And for most people, cooking is a lot of work, particularly if you want to make something interesting from scratch. Let's use a simple example of having a spaghetti dinner. You have to decide whether you want to make your own spaghetti sauce or you're going to use a spaghetti sauce that comes from a jar. Before I developed my fast cooking system, I used to just reach into the pantry and grab a jar of commercially prepared spaghetti sauce. And now, with my fast cooking system, I cook my spaghetti sauce each time from scratch. First of all, the sauce tastes better because I'm able to create the sauce exactly the way how I like it. But actually, more importantly, I feel better because I now have control in what I put into my body. To me, this is the most significant aspect of home cooking. You decide what you're going to put into your food rather than let other people to decide for you. Once you reach this point of your home cooking, you have opened up a new spectrum, a set of new territories for you to explore. For me, it is the fast cooking system that has given me the flexibility, and it opened up the possibility and creating the potentials that I have never known before. For me to explain what I mean in this statement, I'm going to use the lowly spaghetti pasta noodles to demonstrate it as an example in this video. I would like to tell you the story how Jasmine discovered to use spaghetti noodles in other noodle dishes than the traditional spaghetti dish. The story begins with advanced prepping, or maybe perhaps I should call it accidental advanced prepping. One day, Jasmine prepared a spaghetti meal for a dinner party. However, only half of the people show up because one of the families had a sick child and they had to stay home. Therefore, she has a lot of unused spaghetti noodles, and she put them in a plastic container and stored them in the refrigerator. Several days later, Jasmine and her husband decided that they would like to have some ramen noodles, but they don't have any of those ramen noodles packaged on hand. Jasmine thought she could use some of the leftover spaghetti noodles that she had stored in the refrigerator. And she used the seasoning in her masala daba to create a soup base, and she stir-fried some vegetable to add to the ramen noodle soup. To her surprise, it turns out great, much better than the ramen noodle package. This turned out to be a great meal, and several days later, Jasmine and her husband decided they would like to do this again. And by now, the spaghetti pasta noodles has been in the refrigerator for about 7 days, and Jasmine was not sure whether they still would be good. The noodles turned out to be fine, and this time she makes some modifications by adding chickens to the stir fry to add to the noodle soup. Jasmine told me that this turned out to be a small but important discovery for her. She now realized that she can use the spaghetti pasta noodles for making ramen noodle soup. Furthermore, it is possible for her to advance prep spaghetti noodles. They could be stored in the refrigerator for up to 7 to 10 days, and she could use them anytime she wants. With the spaghetti noodles sitting in the refrigerator all ready to go, she starts to think of other ways to use them. Jasmine and her husband Juan loves lo mein, and they order that every time they eat at a Chinese restaurant. They will make lo mein at home occasionally, but they will only do that when they have the traditional Asian noodles. And now with the spaghetti pasta noodle ready and sitting in the refrigerator to be used, Jasmine decided, why didn't I try to make lo mein with the spaghetti pasta noodles? And it turns out great. Jasmine told me that they not only like the dish, they actually prefer the spaghetti pasta noodles over the traditional Asian noodles. Another great advantage is that the spaghetti pasta noodles, they are always available and they are less expensive. Jasmine is a second-generation Chinese American, and her parents immigrated from the southern part of China. She remembered a pan-fried noodle dish that her mother made that she used to love when she was a child. And for this dish, her mother would pan-fry a Cantonese egg noodles. She would first cook the noodles, and then she stored them in the refrigerator and pan-fry them the next day. Jasmine told me that this is one of her favorite noodle dish, but she could not have it too often because most of the time she doesn't have the Cantonese egg noodles on hand. When Jasmine looked at the spaghetti pasta noodles all ready to be used sitting in the refrigerator, she decided, why not give it a try? There's nothing to lose. She told me that how excited she was when it turned out to be great. She told me that that was one of the aha moments for her of all the years that she has been cooking. Now Jasmine has discovered 4 different ways to use her spaghetti pasta noodles, and I actually call it the 4 different templates. The first one is to use just as a spaghetti pasta noodles in a spaghetti meal. The second way is to use them in a noodle soup like a ramen noodles. The third way is to use it in a lo mein dish. The fourth way is to use in a pan-fried noodle dish. So each time when now Jasmine boils spaghetti noodles, she will boil about 2 pounds. This is about the capacity that she could fill her 14-inch stainless steel wok. The wok turned out to be the best cooking utensil for boiling spaghetti noodles or any other types of noodles. Its large opening makes a better fit for the noodles as well as for easy manipulation during the cooking process. Jasmine said that now every time when she opens the refrigerator, she sees the spaghetti pasta noodles sitting there all ready to be used. She is immediately presented with 4 different possibilities of how to cook them. She will then choose one of them depending on how she feels that night. And then she will take a look at what other things she has in her advanced prepping. Based on what is available in her advanced prepping, as well as what she feels like to have, she can come to a decision very quickly. As my friend Eugene said, if I have food prep, just looking at the food that I have prepped, that is my menu, with no recipe needed. And with template-based cooking, you are confident how the dish is going to turn out with minor modifications. Stir-frying makes all this possible because it is probably the most flexible cooking technique, allow you to make adjustments and changes on the fly. Its efficiency also makes it a mindful as well as a fun activity. Flavor chasing is a combination of these three attributes because it makes it possible for you to make continuing adjustment and modifications to achieve the flavor that you love. I have posted a video in the past on how to use the spaghetti pasta noodles in these different capacities. I post a video each day to help people to adopt a fast cooking system, to make home cooking that is practical, efficient, fun, and creative, so that it could be part of one's daily routine. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.